My grandmother, who had been born in 1905 in the East End of London, had a very poor childhood and upbringing. Her father had died when she was just a year old, and her mother had to work in a soup kitchen to make ends meet and take in laundry, and Ethel's eldest sister Olive helped look after Ethel and all her brothers and sisters. When the First World War broke out, Olive's husband Charlie had to go away and fight and leave her and their children at home. My grandmother also had brothers called Sid, Jack and Frank. Frank managed to get out of serving in the First World War because he had a club foot and couldn't wear the boots. Sid, as you can see in this picture here, was sent to Cairo and fought over there. And also Olive's husband went away fighting in France. And so did Ethel's other brother, Thomas. Thomas was her eldest brother, and he had actually joined the army before the First World War. He was in the Royal Horse Artillery because he looked after horses. He took after his father and had a talent for grooming and looking after horses, and so he was already in the army when the First World War broke out, and he was sent to France with the Royal Horse Artillery, and he died in 1917 in the Battle of the Somme. Now Sid, who was out in Cairo in this photograph, he did come back home, but he suffered wounds and injuries. Charlie Pawsey, Olive's husband, came back with a steel plate in his head, and also my grandmother had another brother, Jack, and he also came home injured. So my grandmother suffered the loss of a brother in the First World War, and also all of her brothers and her brother-in-law. None of them returned home quite in one piece. These were the wealthy employers and philanthropists that gave my grandmother's mother a job in the soup kitchen that they ran, and they often gave my grandmother hand-me-down clothes and hampers at Christmas, and they were very good to my grandmother's family. In 1926, during the general strike, when Amelia couldn't get any transport to come to work, they sent their chauffeur-driven car to the family home to pick up Amelia so that she wouldn't have to walk back and forwards to work during the general strike. And they also sent her to the Buxton Spas when her rheumatism was playing up, and sent her on a holiday. And when my great-grandmother Amelia died in the late 1920s, my grandmother was left alone and had to find a life for herself.